Right, the market opened more or less the same, but it's got a little bit of upward momentum. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to my plan and make an entry at 206.80, um, 689. I might have to move it back because it hasn't got a momentum of, jump up, So I'm going to move it back to 206.83 and hopefully can get in. And if I can't get in, it might be a good move actually, because afternoon market and morning market are two different things. You cannot make use of the previous data because people come back, after lunch and they might look at things differently. All right, so I got in. I haven't got in yet. It's only 1 point difference. Gotta wait. So I'm gonna wait for a while. Looks good. I might have to move down a point actually. It seems to doesn't have the momentum to go up. Oh, I have to move down a few points actually. 3 points. Still can't get in. Even though it's sort of like come down for 3 points, it's still sort of like can't get in. So I'm gonna wait. Or I even going to sort of move up, like this. Because sometimes if it doesn't sort of like, get in, might as well you wait for another chance. I don't care. I wouldn't mind either. I've decided to get in sooner.
Order fill.
So I get in at 208.77. Hopefully this is the right move because sometimes when they start to hesitate like this, the price might just shoot up, Then here you go. So I could have waited and got in at the right price instead of missing the 2 pips. So always wait. And I'm going to set a tighter loss because I just worry about, if the price shoot up. See, it's cool. Sometimes it just, you know what you're doing, even though you know what you're doing, you still make stupid moves. See, it's 84, 83. So that was the previous price I set it for. So in order to be a good trader, this is something that you just have to stop. Just wait, and if you missed it, I shouldn't get engaged in this trade because if that is the case, then it's a decision whether you're going to set a wider stop or tighter stop because this is the afternoon market, so it's very much like a bet more than a trade because she hasn't got enough data to work with. I could have saved the extra few points if I leave it just like at 84 just now, based on the original plan. But now I sort of rushed into the market and end up like, oh, I lost a few points already. So doesn't look like a good sign to me. I'm going to set a tighter stop and let it sort of like lose rather than I set it up to 720. I reckon it will go past that marker. I'm going to lose 10 points and then I'm seeking exit. But let's mark it at 20 points, at 700. Looking at a slower chart, a faster chart, yeah, might as well. I can leave it a bit longer. Yeah, I'll move it back to the original setting, 720. It's no harm to keep changing your mind as long as you know what you're doing. So now whether this is a good shooting star candlestick is pretty much a critical point. Because as I'm saying, afternoon market are two different markets. You cannot make use of the previous data. We look at a candle whip. That was the original setting which I placed originally. So sometimes, as I'm saying, you just have to wait. If you want to get into a better price rather than like rush in. The afternoon start, normally what you should do, you should at least wait for two to three pivot before you start engaging a trade, because at least you get some kind of data. And if you're not sure, I'm talking about like slow chart and not like fast chart, like a 3 range bar chart. At least you're gonna see about 3 pivot on a 12 range bar minimum before you start engaging a trade. If that is the case, I stick with 2-to-1 ratio. This is something that you can control, you know, your trade, you know, 2-to-1 ratio, you know. 2 parts here, a bit more than that actually. 2 parts here and 1 part there, 2-to-1 ratio. Since we have a bit of time there, can you see that the stochastic, a lot of people look at it when one line hitting the other, then getting close to the other, then it's a sign of changing direction. I mean, some people believe in that, you know, but for me, no one can predict the future. It's just the only thing that you can control is your capital, nothing else. If you look at this, it doesn't seem to look good. It's sort of like look like a climbing up style. So to be wise, you sort of like, you know, got to think of the way to exit, you know, to save your capital. What I normally do is I will look at a faster chart to make my decisions, to look at the pivot, you know, because, you know, in a faster chart you can see more pivot. As you see that the pivot, you know, but again, that is before noon, so it's afternoon. So it's hard to say. It's sort of, I would say that I would leave it for a while. Yeah, can you see that? You know, this is higher than the other one. Yeah. So I give it a wait, you know, and see what's happening. I'm gonna cut my loss because that is going higher than the previous. We have to look for a spot to exit now. Look at this. Just keep climbing up. So it's a matter of whether you can sort of like exit, cut loss at a better price. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good price to get out of 701, 702. I would exit now.
Order filled.
See, this is how you sort of like minimize your losses, or might be you might make a big mistake, but you know, you never know. See, it is 20721. See whether I'm right.
Order cancelled.
It might just sort of like stop there at a peak, you know, but you never know. If I know that, then I'll be a millionaire. I won't be doing this every day. I'm looking for somewhere to go for a long, as I do not think that they will go down. This is why I just cut loss just now. I would say that if it is a long, then I would expect a target exit at 207.86 for about like, might be 70 to 100 points upwards. Again, it's hard to say. See that just now I said when you look at the stochastic, you know, when it starts crossing up at a slower chart, then very likely, particularly when you look at it, see that whip shooting star, it might show like that's the pivot for 100 points going downward. So what I'm going to do is
Order cancelled.
I'm going to do an order now. I'm not waiting.
Order filled.
Okay, that's 206.94. And I stick to my cut loss here at 710.
Order pending.
So my original decision was correct.
Order filled.
So I got busted. And if you look at it as stochastic, you know, you cannot trust it because it's sort of, even if it's touch it, it can still go up. So there is a different sort of application apart from, you know, like this, but you know, so I make a mistake. Just stick to my initial thoughts. Right, I'm going to wait for a pivot, you know, and I'm going to make a trade. I'm going to make an entry at 206.92 for long. The reason why I'm not making an entry at 38.2 is because I don't think there is a very strong momentum there. Therefore, I'm going to do it there.
Order pending.
And I'm going to set a stop just below the supporting line there at 206.77.
Order pending.
I have to move the, looking at the MACD, I'll have to move it a bit like further down for the entry. I'm going to
Order filled.
just for the order. I might have to widen the stop loss. 61.8. I might have to widen the stop loss because if you look at the MACD there, it's not at all touching the signal line. If you look at the MACD in the RSI, sorry, the stochastic in the slower chart, see that it's not actually going past yet. This is the reason why I sort of saying that I need a wider stop loss and the MACD in here. If you look at a faster chart there, sort of is still going down. This is why I was changing my mind just now. Okay, if that's the case, I give it a bit more room on the stop. So that's life. I mean, if you do not react fast enough, that's a problem.